Welcome back to New Rockstars.
I'm Night Whitney Van Laningham.
And man, I stayed up way too late last night writing this breakdown. Time to take a page from Grandpa Rick's playbook. All right, just shot and chaser. Gross. Cool, I'm awake and ready to hit you with all the details you might have missed from quite possibly the scariest episode of Rick and Morty to date, Night Family. The title of this episode is potentially a play on Night Gallery, the 1970s horror anthology series hosted by the Twilight Zone's Rod Serling. While the Twilight Zone focused more on science fiction, Night Gallery was all about the supernatural. The intro credits to Rick and Morty directly pays homage to the Twilight Zone, so it makes sense that this foray into cinematic horror would make a nod to Serling's other anthology series. Writer Rob Schraub actually envisioned the episode as being sort of like a John Carpenter movie, with an emphasis on exploring the concept that you're an entirely different person when you're asleep than you are when you're awake. This episode is also heavily modeled after Jordan Peele's Us, and you can see inspiration from the tether drawn by the episode's night people. Like Us, the episode opens with an epigraph, a short quotation at the beginning of a story intended to suggest its theme. This quote from T.S. Eliot is Fragment of Aegon, written as part of an unfinished anthology play titled Sweeney's Agnostics. The word Aegon is Greek for conflict or contest, which is definitely exactly what happens when the day and night collide. This epigraph is used to set the tone of something being amiss during the night and plays up sleeping to be rather eerie. We open on Beth trying in vain to fall asleep. She plays a game called Sheep Counter by the app company Snoozy. There's actually a children's game on a website called mathgametime.com that has a similar function and design if you really get a hankering to play it for yourself. She gets fed up with the game and decides to head downstairs for a couch nap, an absolutely pro move if you can't fall asleep in bed. She's startled, however, when her dad jump scares her with zombie sit-ups. When the sun rises the next morning, you can hear the crow of a rooster followed by disintegration noises. That's actually the sound of the horrific alarm clock designed by Rick that we see later in the episode. This clock itself is a great example of how Rick treats those that he deems as lesser beings. Not only is this clock absolutely ruining the feng shui of his room, but this bulky device reduces the life of a creature to one single function for Rick's benefit. Rick treats the Night Family in a similar manner, with their existence being boiled down to purely a labor force for his benefit. Like most great horror stories, this whole episode tussles with social commentary pertaining to the treatment of the working class. At breakfast, Rick shows off his new abs, explaining to the family that his night person helped him achieve that tasty washboard. He introduces them to a device called the somnambulator, somnambulism being a medical term for sleepwalking. Using a person's blood, the machine programs your unconscious body to do tasks for you while you sleep. Of course, the Smith family jumps at the chance to utilize their very own night person. When the somnambulator pricks Jerry's finger, he warns the others that he might faint. Rick is the only one who notices that he's about to pass out and still chooses to do nothing to break his fall. We jump ahead in time to March 11, several days after the Smiths began using their sleepy counterparts. The number 11 is significant. It's a callback to Jordan Peele's Us, which features the Bible verse Jeremiah 11:11. It reads, "Therefore, thus saith the Lord, behold, I will bring evil upon them, which they shall not be able to escape, and though they shall cry unto me, I will not hearken unto them." In an interview with NPR, Peele said, quote, "My favorite horror images are the beautiful ones that are subverted. This is why I was drawn to the Stepford Wives, and movies like Jaws and The Shining appeal to me, is that when you have something idyllic and beautiful and sort of perfect, that's where true horror lies." This episode follows the same theme, showing the happiness the family feels as Summer learns Spanish, Beth hones her skills on the trumpet, Morty gets abs to rival his grandpa, and Jerry starts a pen pal program with Night Jerry, juxtaposed against the drudgery of their nighttime counterparts solely performing only the most mundane tasks. Side quest, I love that this envelope is addressed to Day Jerry, Under the Pillow Road, Awaketown, USA, with the return address from Night Jerry, Avenue ZZZZZ, Sleepsville, USA. Apparently, both their day and night personas are into Tori Amos. Like the tethered from Us, night people have always existed just underneath the surface. We see Night Summer, for example, performing acts that lie deep inside of Day Summer's psyche, like standing up to Rick and taking charge of the family. Like Red, she becomes their leader. The episode also reminds me a lot of Severance. In this Apple TV series, LuMan Industries offers a severance program for their employees, where they separate a person's work memories from their non-work memories, essentially trapping half of themselves in the office while their other half roams free. As Night Summer does the dishes, her hands get all roughed up from scrubbing the schmutz off each dirty plate. The next morning, Night Jerry's letter to Day Jerry kindly requests that the family rinse off their dishes before leaving them in the sink so that it'll be easier for Night Summer. Of course, instead of seeing this as a pretty reasonable ask, Rick totally blows up, declaring war by smearing ketchup all over the dining room table. Something we're seeing this season repeatedly brought into focus is Rick's stubbornness as a defining character flaw. From telling the Morty NPCs that he loves them and Roy to dealing with the Night family, Rick's refusal to make small accommodations at the request of others sets in motion resistance that mucks up his plans. Rick and Morty start a podcast called Fabsolutely Abulous, which Rick describes as an abcentric hour of fun. There's actually a British sitcom from the 90s called Absolutely Fabulous, but it's more about comedic mother-daughter dynamics than sit-ups. As a person who has to do ad reads regularly, I love their Boxer Lobster ad. The name sounds like something Tommy and I would make up for fake Rogue Theory ads. Boxer Lobster seems to be a parody of MeUndies, who definitely have Wookiee print items on their website. Before Morty begins the ad read, he says, "Abs above, so below," a play on the second verse inscribed on the Emerald Tablet, a cryptic hermetic text highly revered by European and Islamic alchemists long ago. In Rick's sleeping quarters, he's got a lot of stuff on the walls. Here we see a vertical map of the solar system, but if you look closely, the colors of the planets don't match the ones in our real-life solar system, so this might be a different part of the multiverse. This robot design could be a Conroy, the robot sent to watch over the Smith family by the Galactic Federation in Season 3's Rickshank Redemption. Next, we see several portraits of characters from Season 1, including Dr. Xenon Bloom from Anatomy Park, a Cronenberg monster, Prince Nebulon from M. Night Shyamalan's, Abradolf Winkler from Rixie Business, and up in the right-hand corner there's a Mr. Meeseeks. Next to Abradolf, you can see the equation for Coulomb's law, and just below Meeseeks there's a diagram of Rick's spaceship and the formula for vacuum permittivity. On the other side of him, you can see a prototype of Rick's portal gun. On the far wall, you can also see the demonic alien containment box, the Ghostbusters-esque trap Rick used in Meeseeks and Destroy. Look man, nobody wants to be mistaken for a supporter of the Empire. The easiest way to avoid that mix-up is to let your rebel flag fly, and you can do that with Epic Hero Shop's new collection, Spark of Rebellion. This collection is full of Empire-defying designs on hats, beanies, and tees that'll get you ready for Andor. If you caught the break room last week, then you saw the live unboxing of the collection, and they had some fun with it. For the record, that's pronounced Rebel Scum. Tommy also showed off his Death Stars in the Death Stardust t-shirt that features the Empire's greatest weapon tagged with a Rebel symbol foreshadowing its destruction. This collection also has hats and beanies with the earliest version of the Rebel symbol embroidered on them. Go check out the full collection on EpicHeroShop.com. This is the absolute best way to support the channel, and wearing the merch is the best way to spot fans in the wild. So make sure to wear it to Galaxy's Edge, cons, and anywhere you want to show your support for the Rebels. Also, be sure to tag @EpicHeroShop and use #RealEpicHero to get featured on their page. Get everything you need to be the stylish nerd you know you are at EpicHeroShop.com. Due to Rick's refusal to rinse the dishes, the Night family wages war on the Smiths. First, they destroy all of the dishes in the house, forcing Rick to fly to the Forbidden Zone 8 Marmadukes past the Outer Rim to forge indestructible ones. Actually, the way that Rick's demon buddy crafts these plates reminds me a lot of the way Stormbreaker was created in Infinity War. Night Summer switches off her grandpa's mechanical upgrades, rendering him fully grandpa and unable to go Inspector Gadget on her ass as she force feeds him moldy, disgusting scraps. Major props to the Rick and Morty team for this one. This is by far the most horrifying thing I've ever seen without gore. This scene with the Night family and their glowing eyes draws their imagery from the ghosts in John Carpenter's 1980s horror film The Fog. After the Night family steals their furniture and the somnambulator, Rick decides to send Summer undercover to stop the device and get rid of their sleepy doppelgangers once and for all. Real quick, peep that Snake Jazz poster on her bedroom wall when he barges in blaming her for Night Summer's reign of terror. Rick dresses Summer in an extremely uncomfortable sleep deprivation suit, designed to keep her awake long enough to sabotage the somnambulator. She's got an air horn in each ear, a pink iPod mini, heavy wool sleeves and pants, one of Jerry's sweaters, an oven mitt, a glove, stilettos, clockwork orange eye tape, forks in her butt to keep her from sitting, and most importantly, Dayquil, a sweet, sweet combo of Mountain Dew and Dayquil guaranteed to prevent her from sleeping. When Summer goes down to the basement, she finds that the Night family has increased the somnambulator's field range to 169%. 69, nice. It seems at first that she's able to outsmart them, but by the next morning, Night Summer is in control. She tells Rick,
"But your opinion means very little to me."
A callback to what Rick said to Summer all the way back in Season 1's Rick Potion number 9.
"I'm sorry, Summer, your opinion means very little to me."
Even though this was said to Cronenberg's Summer, apparently Night Summer's original Rick must have made a similar comment, because she's held on to it, growing more and more resentment for her daytime grandfather. Night Summer tricks out the family's appliances, dubbing them proxy drones, making them sentient and filling them with stabby sleepy needles. She and the drones call the Day family Daymenoids, a play on the word demonoid. After the Night family's takeover, they stop marking the days on the calendar with X's as they pass, opting instead to mark them with Z's. Night Summer forces Daybeth to burn all DVDs with the word day in the title. So she burns copies of Independence Day, Groundhog Day, and Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Talladega Nights is obviously safe because that's a night movie. Unable to stand laboring on behalf of their overlords any longer, Day Jerry writes a post-it note pleading with Night Jerry to help his family. Side quest again? Damn y'all, Jerry is really coming through for Beth and the kids this season. He's come a long way from the cowering worm that Beth used to see him as. He's actually holding his own this season, and we love to see it. As the Day family tries to flee the house, Morty trips the proxy drone's laser, which causes Rick's brand new ship to explode. Dude, that sucks. The little device he used to navigate without portal jumping was in there. How are they gonna get around now? I'm sorry, but that station wagon cannot make the journey to Forbodulon Prime in one piece, and Mama needs some death crystals. When the family veers onto the highway, check out the bottom left corner. You'll see part of a U-tow truck, the same tow-themed towing company that first appears in the pilot episode, and was also used by Jerry when he moved out of the house in Season 3's Rick Mancing the Stone. As they zoom through an intersection, the name of the street is Kellner Avenue, named for Rick and Morty and Solar Opposites writer's production assistant, Michael Kellner. They also pass a generic soda shop and ice cream parlor, as well as a motel with the punny name The Sleep Inn. Later, they pass a traffic sign for an airport, which is so nondescript it's kind of hilarious. An Adderall truck crash wakes up Summer and Rick, and Night Beth gives Day Jerry a big ol' boner when she tries choking him out at the wheel. This, along with last week's episode with the Beths, is really driving it home that Jerry is a kinky little sub in the bedroom. Finally, the cop car Summer was driving launches off the highway and crashes into a gasoline factory, which causes an explosion at the Dynamite Museum next door, followed by an inferno at the even more flammable dry leaf storage facility. When Day Summer accidentally impales herself on a stray sleep needle, Night Summer intentionally crashes the family's car, which throws them off a cliff. After fighting intensely, half asleep and half awake, the Night family manages to overpower everyone except for Rick. Night Summer concedes to him that if he and the Day family agree to rinse their dishes, she'll call a truce and everything will go back to normal. Obviously, Rick is far too petty to let this fight go, and the Night family takes permanent control. And who could blame them? These people didn't even know what the sun was before Night Jerry dared to inquire. As soon as they're in charge, the Night family goes to Bed Bath & Beyond, a luau, a Chinese parade, and the Eiffel Tower. They have a marathon of all 3 Night at the Museum movies, and we actually see a cartoon version of a clip from the first Night at the Museum on screen. Night Beth even rents out a concert hall to perform her trumpet, and Night Summer makes amends with Night Rick, getting him a World's Greatest Grandpa mug. Unfortunately, these dudes do not know how to live in the daytime. Night Beth can't figure out how to pay the bills, Night Summer doesn't know Day Summer's Twitter password, the bank repossessed their bullet-riddled car, and Night Morty no longer has abs that you can bounce a bowling ball off of. Out of money and feeling miserable, Rick decides to shoot a revolver at the somnambulator, which instantly wakes the family from their long slumber. As soon as they're conscious, they learn that the Choco Taco was discontinued while they slept. This is a pretty recent event, and animation takes a long time to make, so it's cool that the production team makes room for inserting timely jokes into their episodes before airing. It reminds me of the pandemic joke back from the Story Train episode. We know that our delicious fallen soldier, the Choco Taco, was taken from us on July 28th. And seeing that the calendar earlier in the episode had the Smiths escape the Night family on the 24th, this means that the Night family burned through the Smiths' funds in a matter of days. I actually got to savor one last Choco Taco with my buddy Topher at Riot Fest last weekend, and I'm devastated to know that it was the last time I'll ever drunkenly shove one of those bad girls into my maw. And look, I'm not saying we lose our minds and go full Szechuan sauce like we did back in 2017, but I am saying that all Rick and Morty fans should peacefully organize to bring the Choco Taco back to life. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Whitney Puppy, follow New Rockstars, subscribe to New Rockstars for more analysis of everything you love, and thanks for watching. Bye!